Yo, we're just going to get straight into the video and straight into the commentary, because if we don't, this video is going to last forever. So as you've seen from the title and the thumbnail, we're doing 30 years controller experience versus 30 days wheel experience. This is the controller lap. So this will be our benchmark that we're going to try and beat with the wheel. The laps themselves are not going to be 100% perfect. I didn't sit down and, you know, try and get the fastest lap that I possibly could, and oh, that one wasn't good enough, I could shave 3 seconds off around there, and I can save a second off around there, I'm gonna do it all again. Like, it wasn't about that. It was just set a clean, consistent lap with both, not purposely trying to beat one with the other, you know, not trying to be faster with the controller, not trying to be faster with the wheel. Just set 2 laps and see which one's fastest. I've not been on the wheel long, as you can tell, 30 days. But I thought it would be interesting just to see, even with just a small amount of experience on the wheel, if it actually is beneficial using a wheel rather than using a controller. So I'm going to shut up and I'll come back in if I feel like I need to add something. You see, I ran a little bit wide here, just braking too late. So one thing I'm trying to do with more so with the wheel is braking early and being a lot smoother through the corners, rather than trying to brake real late because I'm going to gain this extra 1/10 of a second. Like, you're not gaining anything. You just end up overshooting the corner, missing the apex, and being inconsistent. And what I also remembered, or what I realised during editing, was this car that I'm using here was actually intended for next week's video, but I've ended up using it in this week's video. Whereas for this, I could have used any single car on Gran Turismo 7, and there's a lot better cars to use. And if I remember right, we're using like Sports Hard on the car, when I could have used Sports Soft. Like, a few things could have been changed, which would have made it a little bit easier and a little bit more fun to try and set the lap. But I guess you'll be seeing this car for the next 2 videos now. Something else I seem to find with a controller as well, you have so much more feedback from the wheel. Like, you can feel the oversteer and the understeer more. So like for this corner here, I can just fully send it into this corner on the controller and not really have to worry about anything. Like, the feedback from the car is just not there. It's kind of numb compared to the wheel. Whereas with the wheel, you feel that little bit of oversteer, you feel that little bit of understeer. You're almost like more hesitant to go into the corners faster. I'm almost scared of the corners, whereas with the wheel you just hold right trigger and you just send it. So coming into the last twisty section, this has to be everybody's favourite section. It's just got a real nice flow to it. This is the scary bit of the lap, because you do all the track, it takes you, 7 minutes, and then it's like you mess up this very last corner because you're going slightly too fast or you brake late, and then you have to do it all again. I hate that bit. So here we go then. With the controller, 754.0, straight into the wheel lap, and there he is, sexy man. Some of the subscribers will already know that I'm in a wheelchair. Some of you may not. And I'm using the pedals with my hands. Until we get something sorted for like hand controls, I could use the same type of setup that's in my car, like my IRL car, where it's like 2 rods that go down to the wheels, pull to go, push to brake. But I don't think that's very good for racing, because of the time it takes you to go from accelerating to braking, whereas with doing it with the hands, like, it's literally right there at your fingertips. I can switch between accelerator and brakes so much quicker like that. Like, it works fine for the road, but I think for racing it's probably not as good. What else I do as well, I'm still using manual, so I use the normal paddle for downshift to downshift, and then the nearest button to my thumb, which I think is L3, I use that for upshift. It took me a while to get used to it. I was just using automatic when I first got the wheel, but I've got a bit more used to it now. Just sometimes when you do go to upshift, the car's a bit unstable as you go to do it. Sometimes you would upshift, like early shift, to help stable the car, because you're upping the revs and maybe losing traction, or whatever the situation is, and you have to take your thumb off the wheel, so you're only gripping the wheel with your fingers, and I have to reach across and press the button to upshift, but it works fine. You see, another thing with pressing the pedals as well, starts to hurt my hand. So this is why I need something, you know, some type of mod for the wheel, or some type of hand controls that I can use. I did take the little rubber stopper out the brake pedal. Feel a little bit better. It's a little bit easier on the hand. Because rather than pushing and hitting like a solid wall and pushing against a solid wall when you're on 100% brake, I can now push past that. I'm still getting 100% brake, but I'm not pushing against like a solid object. That's what it feels like. So as you can see as well, so far on the lap, it's pretty similar to the controller lap. There's not much differences. We're getting through the corners. Yeah, I thought we'd do a little bit of cinematics just to, you know, break up the video a little bit. You see, coming into the carousel as well, trying to be that little bit too fast, and it just entered too fast. Trying to brake that little bit later than I should have. Here we go then. Final couple of turns. Nailed it. Kind of. Could be a, you know, ever so slightly better, but I mean, it's no big deal. But we just hit 754, so we're not going to beat it. And we get 757.7. Obviously, I want happy, so we're going to go again. This recording was actually taken from the lap itself, like not from the replay. And you'll see the ghost from the previous fastest lap, but mostly in the mirror. If you look in the rear view mirror, through this first section, we're kind of like right on top of each other. You see, he pops in front for a second, and then like he comes back, and then yeah, you don't see him for a while. I think next time you see him is in the mirror, and he stays in the mirror until the end. So we skip to the end of this fast section. You can see him in the mirror there. He's right on my ass, disappeared. So he got a better brake into that corner, I think, and then got a better drive coming out of that out of the bend. And there he is. You know, I could get this next corner a little bit better, and then we're back on top of each other. We're back in front. Yeah, you see coming out of here, look at him in the mirror now. We got a nice little gap on him there. And then we hold this same gap. We're probably gaining on some corners and then losing on some other corners. Yeah, we hold this gap down until the carousel, which I think we fast forward to the carousel. There we go then, skipping to the carousel, watching in the mirror. Remember when I did my previous lap, I went in too fast, but I see him go wide in the mirror and I'm like, man, this is going to be a nice little gap here. Thinking that the mistake that the ghost made was actually worse than it was, but he's still right there. I didn't gain as much as I'd hoped to. You know, we've still got this last section of the map. I'm pretty sure we keep him around about the same distance until the end, but as of now it's not enough to win. It's enough to beat the ghost, but I don't think it's enough to beat the controller. That was a bit cleaner through there. Last time we ran right out onto the grass. So he's still there in the mirror. We're going up to the final straight. I think we pretty much both get the like the same drive out of the final bend here, coming onto the final straight. So we're gonna skip to the last couple of bends. You see he's still there in the mirror. He actually must have got a better break in into this last corner because he's caught right up. I seem to pull away ever so slightly through this very, very last bend, but it's still not enough to beat the controller time. 756.9. So that's 1 win to the controller, 0 for the wheel, unfortunately. But I said we'll probably revisit this in, let's say, another 30 days, and we'll see how we've improved. We'll use a different car and see what the results are. But on that bombshell, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and thanks for watching. Until next time, bye.